Yo, do me a favor and ignore this big ass knot on my forehead, alright? Let me say this and let me be clear. See, the CIA is going to infiltrate the black barbershop one day. Barbershops are like the holy grail for just getting your talk on. And the funniest thing is, barbershops are kind of like Waffle Houses. You know how Waffle Houses, most of the employees can fight, and if they can't fight, the food probably ain't good? That's kind of how barbershops are. If you don't hear a garbage sports take or something that can land a motherfucker in jail, then I ain't gonna lie, it's not good. Like if it ain't a nigga in there talking about beating his girl or selling gas, it's something else. Like there was literally a time where I was the only person in the shop who didn't have a felony. Niggas be in the barbershop asking each other when their court dates are. Bro, recently I was in the shop and the dude who was in there, who was next to my barber, you know, like across from him, was talking to him, you know, kind of leaning on the wall. You know, they're just talking. I'm not a talkative guy, so usually my barber, he talks to me a little bit, but we ain't chopping the whole time. Bro, this dude got on the story of the time where he went to this college. And yes, I'm not gonna say the name, but it's the college that my dad went to and one of my cousins, you know, graduated from. And basically, to make a long story short, he talked about how he was meeting up with a girl there, and the girl texted him saying that she wanted to climb his tree. Now, to give an explanation, this dude was probably about 6'5", and that's just going based off how we were standing next to each other. So because she texted him saying that she wanted to climb his tree, he got the idea of, you know, I'm gonna let your mind think, right? I'm gonna let you leave that to your imagination. So he went over to her dorm room. You know, they started, you know, doing what grown folks do slightly, you know, getting into it at least. And she stopped him out of nowhere. And she basically said, hey, what are you doing? He said, I'm doing what we were talking about over text. And then he kind of said, you remember what you said? And then she said, I didn't mean it like that. Now, obviously, he was a little curious as to, what he meant. And she didn't really answer. And then the next day, all of a sudden, he was getting hit with charges. That's all I'm gonna say about that story. But you know, me being who I am, I was kind of trying to act like I wasn't listening. And I was like minding my own business, just making the straightest face with the blankest stare. And then my barber was like, shoot, yeah, I don't know what she meant either. And then he tapped me, looked at me, it's like, hey, what you think she meant? I immediately got nervous because now this dude knows I was listening to his story. Now granted, he was right there, but my nosiness is expired. Now that I know he knows that I know, I couldn't help but, you know, to laugh. And to refrain from getting my ass beat, I agreed to him 100%. But yeah, one of the worser things about being in a barbershop is hearing all these garbage ass takes when it comes to sports. Cause once a nigga tells me Walt Frazier is locking down Steph Curry, I kinda just stop listening. Or once a nigga says MJ's the GOAT because of his influence in the shoes, I'm like, alright, whatever. My last barber back in Florida will always just randomly come up with the idea to start talking about how he wants to marry a white woman. Now granted, I don't care about preference. Keep in mind, this dude was married at the time. And sometimes this girl would just piss him off, so he would just talk about getting with a white woman. An older white woman at that. Because I think at the time he was like 34. But let me say something. If you are the barber who takes up too much time because you're talking all through the haircut, fix that shit. One time, I was freaking out of the barber shop an hour and 22 minutes after my appointment because this dude was talking during everyone's cuts and he didn't know how to like talk and like cut at the same time. Like my appointment was at 3:30. I wasn't in the chair by like 4:15. Like, man, you is way behind. And then this nigga wanna rush my head and shit. Like, gosh damn. And thankfully, I've never been caught cheating on my barber. When I was trying out barbers for the first time, I was coming back and going and doing all that, but I never got caught. If I wanted to ever go back to a barber who I went to and I got cuts in between then, I let the cut get like dirty. I'll go like weeks without a cut. I can't get caught in my tracks, man. And I'm not gonna leave this video without saying this. Who do some of y'all barbers think y'all are? The fact that y'all are charging like 70 plus for haircuts, by the way, I'm not getting my haircut by those dudes, but charging that much for a haircut is insane. Nigga, all you got is a ring light and one black glove on your left hand and gold trimmers. Nigga, I'm not paying that much. Nigga will put in his Booksy account that the reason his prices are so high because he has a family to feed. My nigga, no one told you to have 5 kids in this economy. Like, don't play with me like that. Niggas spray freaking black ice on your shit and think it's fucking worth the millions. Like, yeah, of course, inflation is a thing, duh, but $70, my guy, come on now. Some people are charging $100, and you gotta keep in mind, some people also charge extra if you're a celebrity. which is what I heard. I don't know how true that is. Yeah, screw you and your 22,000 followers. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. Hey, not much to say. Appreciate you for staying patient with me. You know, I got a bit of a cold, so the voice might be a little raspy on this one. So yeah, hope you like it. I appreciate you. Deuce.